Yaida, yada, da, da, yaida, yai, yada, da, da, yaya, yada, da, da, yaida, yada, da, da, yaida, da, da, dum. Oh, oh, yada 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 dum. I yada 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 I yada 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 I yada 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 I yada 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 Oh, ay, ay, ya, da, 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 ya, da, ya, da, 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 ya, da, 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 ay, ya, da, 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 ya, da, ya, da, 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 ya, da, ya, da, 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 ya, da, 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 ay, ya, da, da, da. Yaida, 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 yaida. Good morning. Good morning, Boker Tov. It is a nice, cool morning, a good start to the day, a great start to almost Shabbat, or for the weekend, or for the end of the work week for some of us. Um, Perhaps it's a regular day with nothing good other than that you woke up this morning. And for some, maybe even that feels like too much. So, wherever you are today, in your day, in your way, we think about what our potential is. So, in our learning, in our connection on Wednesday, when we were talking with some wisdom about this week's Torah portion, we were talking about in Parshat Pinchas, was a story about courage and leadership and the pursuit of justice and how we can move through our own challenges using Pinchas's ways to be inspired by the idea of courage and fostering peace and justice and looking for ways to build ourselves up and our community. So as we continue to dive deeper, or to understand more, or to scratch at another piece of the surface, in addition to Pinchas's courageous act, this portion also presents us with crucial moments in the journey of the Israelites. There is a discussion of inheritance and leadership that comes along with this. I don't know what. Okay, sorry. I'm not sure, but there's something just popped up and it was playing. The discussion of leadership and inheritance that follows. the daughters of, oh, that's why it popped up. That's so silly. I typed, so computers, they're much smarter than us. So I typed up some of the bullet points of what I was going to share today. And as my mouse goes over the word, it plays it. Zelophehad. I guess my mouse is clicked. All right. I moved it. Zelophehad. The daughters of Zelophehad, there we go, come forward and demand their right to inherit their father's portion of the land of Israel. So if we think all the way back in the beginning, just after the story of creation, it was God saying to Abraham, like, leave from your father's house, go to this place. I will show you. I will make you a multitude. You will be like, the I'll show you the land. I'll give you the land, and your people will be like the stars. That there will be unlimited amount of people, of generations yet to come, and it will be for them. But so here we are. These daughters are like, hold on a second. I want my father's portion of this land, and it's a request that challenges the traditional inheritance laws of the time. So in the eyes of the community, the laws had been clear. Inheritance is passed through the male descendants. Yet these women were bold. Can't say I'm disappointed in that. They're bold. And their boldness leads to a ruling that not only changes the law of their time, but happens to perhaps, maybe, reshape the future. Now, we know that we live in a world where men and women, people, are not equally or treated equally or fairly, and we know it. It's in the workplace, it's in the home, it's in cultures. But in this moment is Torah time, right? This is not even an extension of time in modernity. This is in Torah time. These women are showing up bold to say, hold on a minute. This is not how it's going to go. And this moment is remarkable because it highlights the importance of challenging the status quo when it comes to justice and fairness. These daughters were not simply advocating for their own personal gain, which, listen, I'm sure in it was for them too, because why not? But it created a future that reflects the highest values. The daughters saw a gap in the law, a place where the community had failed to account for their needs. And these daughters were going to work. They were going to work to figure it out and address it. For us, similarly, we have the responsibility to look at the structures of the systems of the culture and custom of our lives, of where we live, of humanity as it plays a role in everyday life. Whether it's the family, whether it's the community, whether it's society, whether it's society or societies, we need to identify where injustice and inequality still lingers. Well, if you ask me, it's basically everywhere, right? We've countless times, and especially recently, we've scratched our heads, shaked our head, rolled our eyes, huffed and puffed, been angry, thinking we've come so far, and yet now we feel like we're back in 1950. In our time, we're still grappling with how leadership and how power is distributed. Just as these daughters sought equal rights to inheritance and leadership, today we see movements around the world fighting for the rights of women and minorities and marginalized groups of people, that we should all have an equal voice in the shaping of the future, but we know that so often we are silenced. Their story teaches us that leadership and inheritance aren't simply about maintaining the structure of what was. They are evolving them to meet the needs of the present time, so that we can participate in shaping the world to come. To take the past, to digest it, to unpack it, to see what is great, see what's been working forever, see what is terrible since the beginning of time, figure it out, make a strategic plan, look at what can change and what we should hold on to as a means to shape what's to come. In a similar vein, we can look at Parshat Pinchas, the next part of it, where God instructs Moses to appoint a successor, which would be Joshua. Joshua's appointment is not just about leadership, but it is about community. So Joshua was going to carry out Moses' work by leading the people to the promised land. Okay, great. Here we go. Pass the torch. Take it and go. The transmission of leadership from Moses to Joshua shows us that leadership is not meant to end with one, but rather something that is meant to evolve and be passed down. It's to say, you brought us to this place, and I'm going to continue to run with your torch. I say this very often at funerals where, people die, and it's now for those that are surviving, family members and friends, community, that it is that you take that torch of all that was good in that person's life, what they've taught you, the way they led their lives, projects they started, to say, you take that torch and continue to run with it. Don't let, just because someone dies, don't just let it be that their life's work and mission was done. Similar to say that, when people retire or people are coming to the close of their career or they just can't do it anymore or they're over it, it doesn't mean that you close the door and you run away and that's it. Oh, goodbye. It means to say, before that happens, how can I pass this? How can the next person see it to fruition? Leadership is a communal responsibility that ensures the values and teachings of one generation are sustained and furthered and enhanced by the next. That's the idea of passing the torch. What kind of leadership, just as individuals, forget the leadership that is in this moment because, well, it's scary. But what personal leadership represents you? And how are you going to cultivate it in a way that the next generation can grab it and run? Are we passing down not just the teachings of tradition, but also the values that come with it? Integrity and justice, inclusivity, that will guide the next or the continuation through the rapidly changing world. You think you got it, but every day we wake up to something new where we're like, whoops, sorry, there's a bend in the road here. Or there's a crossroads and you know what, I wasn't really planning for that. But we got to be quick on our feet and make the decision, commit to it, even if it's not going to be perfect, and go. How can we ensure that the next generation is prepared to lead with the wisdom of their ancestors, but also while adapting to the challenges of their own time? Parshat Pinchas reminds us of the leadership, reminds us of the inheritance, and reminds us that they are not fixed. Rather, they are fluid. Rather, they are evolving with the needs of the community. The story of the daughters challenges us to think about ways in which we shape leadership and inheritance today. It calls us to be bold. Bold in our demands for fairness and equality and also equity, just as they were. It calls us to think about passing leadership. It forces us to think about ensuring that as we pass these things on, it's not about the clinging to power as a superhero, but rather in a nurturing way. To say, I hope, I pray, I hand you the tools, I encourage you to take the tools and make them what they need to be in order to carry the work forward. As we reflect on these lessons, we ask ourselves, how can we be like the daughters? How can we challenge the systems that are unjust or outdated? How can we prepare the next generation to lead with wisdom and compassion? And how can we ensure our inheritance, the values that we hold so dear, are passed down in ways that make the world better for the next generation and for all generations? As we enter Shabbat together, let's think about our legacy. Let's think about preparation. Let's think about wisdom and compassion. Let's think about how we can be like those daughters, to be bold and to speak up and to stand out in making the world a better place. I'm grateful for all of you that have joined: Fern and Suze, Elisa and Bet, Jeneba, Linda, Paula, and those that have not checked in but are here: Reb Tova. Wow. Mazal Tov, 97 years old. A blessing. Elaine, this Parsha 84 years ago. Could you imagine that? Unbelievable. May he have continued blessing. But listen, blessing like a daughter, having a daughter like you, I mean, that's the ultimate blessing. For all of us, let us be blessed. Let us figure out what it is today that's going to give us a little bit of boldness that we need, even when we may not feel so bold in these moments. We are one human family, one heart of abundant love. We love you, and we'll see you back here tonight at 6:30 as we welcome Shabbat together. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. 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 Oh, Abinu Chai. Have a great day, everyone. See you back here, 6:30. Thanks.